Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hash Rate. My name is Mark Jeffrey. My guest today is Hannibal Soares of BoomLand. So, Hannibal, welcome to the show. Good to see you, man.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
My pleasure. I know we've been trying to do this for a little while now, so I'm really glad that we finally got around to it. So, you run BoomLand, and this is pretty interesting because BoomLand has been around. It's not just like a Web3 thing that popped up out of the pavement 5 weeks ago. It's an old company, and really I should say an established company, a real company with real products in the real world, right? So you are,
Right.
I think, 10 years old. You have 200 employees, if that's correct?
So it's actually, I'm the co-founder of a pretty big Web2 mobile gaming studio called BoomBit. And
Yep.
a year ago, I founded BoomLand as like the blockchain division of it.
Got
But
it. So,
yeah, I mean,
but BoomBit has
yeah,
like
so,
200 employees, right?
yeah, 300 now.
Wow. Okay. So a big company, and over the last 10 years, you've been putting out all these games for mobile devices, and you've
Right.
had over 1 billion downloads. Probably more than that would be my guess at this point.
Yeah, one and a half already.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Yeah, it's
so very
huge. Yeah.
successful, right? So, and these games. So I went and looked at them, and I remember it's been a while since I actually went and looked at them, but when I remember looking at them, and the type of game surprised me. It was sort of almost like activities, right? And I don't know if it's all these games, but the one I saw was like Superhero
Yeah.
Flying School, and it appeared like you
Yeah,
became a
that's
superhero.
it's yeah, that's one of the vision. We actually have quite a different types of games because gaming is like different audiences, right? So I think the ones that you saw, like the more casual ones,
Yeah.
we have some like mid-core games, which is what we're bringing to Web3, which are much more in depth. You know, we have run live ops on the weekends and tons of events and tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, super cool. So tell me, what is your most successful game to date?
It's a Hunt Royale. So Hunt Royale is like mid-core RPG, like Battle Royale-ish. It's
Ah,
been up for almost 2 years, has over 6 million downloads. It's generated like well over $10 million in revenue already. And that's the game that we are bringing to Web3 with the project BoomLand.
yep.
I mean, we picked this game because it has huge retention. It's like 55% day one, which is for mobile gaming is like really high, and a massive community on Discord.
Wow. And is that the game you guys are now calling Hunters on Chain? Is that correct?
Right. So we made a completely new version of the game specifically for the blockchain. We're tokenizing everything inside of the game. So all the characters and all the assets and equipments that you get in the game are now NFTs, which have like an actual utility. You play with them, you upgrade them, and it's not speculative. They actually go up in value because you play with the games and increases basically the HP, the damage, etc. It's an idea I've had for many years actually. Started in 2018, but the technology wasn't there. But now it's possible, and I can't wait to get it out, man. It's like I think we're like 1 month away from launch.
This is super cool because a lot of the gaming companies that I've talked to that or gaming people from the traditional gaming universe do not like crypto. They don't like Web3. They don't like NFTs. And there's a huge resistance in a lot of extant gaming communities and companies to actually make this transition. Have you noticed this as well, or?
Yeah, I've seen in some areas of gaming, not all, more like the really big, like sort of PC console audiences. Those are the ones who've been kind of fighting a bit more against it. Not so much on mobile, not as at least pronounced on mobile. But I think the reason for that is just because there hasn't been any game or any studio doing it right. So I really believe in the technology. I think it's perfect for gaming. But until now, all you had was like DeFi products kind of disguised of a core loop. A lot of them failed. A lot of people lost a lot of money. And none of them were games, really. I mean, there's a few good ones. I'm not knocking the whole thing. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. But that created a lot of mistrust in the industry, both for the audiences and both for entrepreneurs like myself who've decided not to go into it because of the potential backlash. But I think absolutely blockchain gaming is here to stay, and I'm going to go all in. I am already all in
Yep.
this.
I love that. I mean, the GameFi thing is, it should be huge. I mean, that's my gut. I'm not an expert like you are, but I just feel I did run a thing called the Palace, which was an early metaverse from '95 through 2000, and and basically, if we'd had NFTs back then, it would have been insanely monetizable. And my gut totally screams that, like every molecule of my being, right? So I feel like yours does as well. But I'm perplexed by those whose molecules are not likewise screaming that there's a massive opportunity here. So it's sort of perplexing me. But I guess people are afraid of getting egg on their face, and I think that fear is driving a lot of them. And then also, we all saw the rise of Axie Infinity, right? I think that was probably something you noticed and went, But when I went and played the game sucks. Dude, the game is not the game is not fun at all. I was surprised. I was kind of like, this is it? I thought it was like a bigger thing, right? And I was like, this is like weirdly not a fun game. And so, but it did succeed to a degree, and it did show what was possible. And then those guys went and made the RONIN blockchain. So they decided to make their own blockchain, and we're going to get to your decision to do the same thing in a second, which I thought was a good idea because I think if the GameFi thing grows to exponentially the way I think it can, then you cannot just swamp the Ethereum blockchain or some mainline blockchain with all of your gaming transactions. It'll just be too much. And so I did invest. By the way, I did put some money into Ronin, and I put it in before the bridge hack. So I didn't actually lose the money, but the Ronin chain after the bridge hack lost so much value that the coin itself lost massive trust and massive value. So, I lost in that sense. So let's talk about, you are going to do your own chain. So tell me about that.
So it's actually not so much as doing our own chain, but it's kind of leveraging the technology which is Polygon is basically building, which is one of the main reasons we went with Polygon. To go back a little bit on that, like we had kind of the good fortune of coming at the time where we did, where we could see a lot of other people making some mistakes that now are easily avoidable. But that's the first mover advantage, if you will, or disadvantage. So we saw, for example, with Polygon, they had the sunflower issue, and that project came in and really slowed down the whole network.
What happened? I'm not aware of that one. Is that that's their CryptoKitties?
No, yeah, it was a game that came out, I think, beginning of last year. There were some issues on the network. I mean, it's a little bit complex, but it really blocked, and the congestion was massive. Gas fees went up, and that scared the hell out of me, because if that happened to me when my game was live and we run a multiplayer game, and now all of a sudden it takes like even 2 minutes. I mean, I think it was hours that it took for a transaction to go through. But if it takes even a minute in my game for a transaction to go through, the players just churn or they just leave. And they also the games are free to play, right? So the whole free to play model, if you have massive gas fees, it's no longer free to play. So that's not scalable. So when we were kind of looking around for the best partners for a blockchain platform, there was Avalanche, they're doing a similar thing with their sidechain technology. There was Polygon with the Supernets. So we've met with all of them, and we really, really believe in what Polygon is building, and our developers as well really liked what they're doing. So basically what we are doing is kind of a side chain or sub chain. There's all these names for these things. So it's our own chain, which we're going to call it BoomChain, but on the technology of Polygon. So what that will help us or allows us to do is to have like our own traffic source. So there won't be hopefully no congestion, or at least from other projects on our chain. We will be the only contributors into that chain. We'll be the validators as well, and we'll be able to reduce the gas fees close to zero, which is what we really want to for our players. So that's the plan. We are working closely together with them to be one of the first studios to deploy on the technology.
Wow, that's interesting. So Polygon did have another game that basically went crazy and overwhelmed their blockchain, just like Ethereum had CryptoKitties. So it was effectively Polygon's CryptoKitties. which they obviously Polygon and the gaming company and you kind of looked at this and went, oh crap, this is very bad if this happens to be me. That's that egg on your face that you can never really quite wipe off. So that's the reticence I think a lot of people have. So by doing your own subnet, so by doing your own subnet and having your own validators, that should theoretically make this all possible. Like
that's the theory. Yes. Yeah. So because they're not ready yet, we ourselves we're deploying on the main chain for now, but we are ready to move on to their supernets as soon as it comes out. So we're going to do a lot of testing to make sure that's going to be no problems, and that's another great thing is that we can go on the main one and then go into ours.
Yes. So so just full disclosure here, so everybody knows, I invested in your chain, so I'm an early investor in it. So I'm obviously personally very much looking forward to the launch for multiple reasons. But I'm curious now. You went and talked to everyone, so you have a very unique perspective. You have a unique product offering. If I'm one of these chains like Avalanche or Polygon or even Solana, I'm looking at you going, oh my God, we got to get these guys on our chain. This is like such a perfect use case. So I imagine all of them, highly coveted you as a user of their chain. What was it? And so you chose Polygon, which I've heard conflicting things, and I haven't interacted with them directly a lot. I have interacted with the Phantom people quite a bit. Did you talk to the Phantom people, by the way?
No, I didn't know.
Okay. So, but you did talk to Polygon. Did you talk to Solana?
No, I spoke to Avalanche, spoke to Polygon, and Immutable.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so that was the horse race right there. Okay, a pretty good horse race. And I've heard conflicting things about the Polygon people. They are clearly excellent at business development. All the partnerships they're signing, all the logos, all really good. I did look at some of the projects, and when you actually drill down on a lot of those logos, they're sort of fluffy, right? They're not really great use cases. Like if you drill down on Starbucks, I think it's like, it's sort of a loyalty program, but it's not really it's a great press release, but not really a great experience for a user. Bottom line, nobody's life is getting changed. What you're doing does have the potential to change people's lives and be, a quantum leap forward in gaming and how everything that we've talked about. Nobody's really quite done it yet. You could actually cross that chasm and do it. So what are the Polygon people like to work with? So what I've heard of are two different things. I've heard that they are very arrogant, and the attitude is kind of like, you're welcome to be in the presence of mighty Polygon, right? But I don't know how true that is, but I guess that wasn't your experience.
Not at all. I have only incredible and amazing things to say about them. The way that we got treated and welcomed and supported is actually one of the reasons we picked them as well. From day one, I mean, everyone was nice, but just from day one, the communication, getting back to you within like minutes, not hours or days, putting from the very beginning all the resources at our disposal. We had like whole marketing team available on day one to go with like announcements, PR, marketing. We got all these Telegram channels for the SideNet, for the SuperChain, SuperNets, technology there, everything. Like they were the ones who introduced us to MagicEden, which when MagicEden decided to add another network on top of Solana and Ethereum, it was Polygon, was very secretive launch. They were picking a few kind of like the best projects to join them. So they put us forward. So they were like really supporting us on that. And we have other projects that are about to be announced in the future, which they are again, like always putting BoomLand there. So really only have amazing things to say about them. Very happy.
Well, that is very heartening to hear. I'm actually very happy about that. So the SuperNets were delayed. When are they expected to launch now?
I think it's still in this quarter. Okay. But I think it's ready anytime. That's what we're looking for. So
whenever they go live with the SuperNets, you go live immediately?
Yeah, we'll see, of course. I mean, we're talking to them, see how it is it stable or not. We'll deploy it on the test net, and if it works, then we'll go live, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then so what? And then what? Your game will roll out at the same time.
No, the
On
game
top
might
of
actually roll out earlier. So one thing that I wanted to do since the beginning is not to do like an NFT drop and then the game comes out a year from now, because I think that's one of the problems in the confidence of the market is almost everyone did that. So and then there was rug pulls or the project just ran out of money, and so we were very conscious on having the game ready before we did any sort of mint. So the game is ready like in March, mid-March and March we were coming out with it. We did the mint on MagicEden just last week. It went really well. It was sold out in 18 seconds. Was one
Let's
of
talk about that for a second, because I want to make. Sorry, I just want you ran by a couple of things really quickly. So you did a mint. So first of all, you're working with MagicEden. MagicEden is one of the top NFT stores. They sort of cut their. They initially launched on Solana, became the biggest NFT store on Solana, and then NFTs kind of crashed, and they started spreading their wings on the other blockchains, and Polygon. I didn't know actually personally that they were moving over. They had moved over to Polygon also, and so they decided to have a few launch partners. You were one of them, and because of the quality of your NFTs and your games and that sort of thing. They looked at you as, oh my God, we got to have these guys in our tent, and so congratulations on that. So I assume working with them was also a really good experience, like it was with Polygon.
Very good, very very good. Again, like very personalized experience. A lot of direct resources. They're always like a huge team from their end. 24 hours available for us. It is pretty good.
And so when you say you did a mint last week, basically, the idea is you're not waiting for the SuperNet to launch. You are minting NFTs for your game on the main Polygon chain and selling them through MagicEden and minting them through MagicEden right now.
Right.
And is that mint over so nobody else can get the mint?
Yeah, now you can go to the secondary market. So it was a free mint. We did 1,500 of the legendary. It's like the premium hunters. They have like a legendary artifact. That basically doubles all the rewards you have in the game, so they're like really really premium. But we really wanted to come out like with a huge boom, if pardon the pun. So it went really well. The secondary is trading really 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 good. A lot of holders. Next plan is to do a larger free mint, like what we call it, the free to play hunters, because our game is free to play. We want eventually like to have everyone to just come into the game, be able to get their NFT for free, start playing the game. The goal is really to deliver a seamless like Web2 experience. So you pick up a mobile game on your iPhone or your Android device. There's no paywalls at all. That's exactly what we're building. But we have this kind of more premium NFTs, characters, exclusive ones, which is the ones we're kind of like drip dropping now with our community. Then we'll open the game, the kind of a beta for everyone to play the game with their own NFTs already in the final version of the game, and then in March we go global.
Wow. Okay, so when I get your game on my phone, there's always this problem of users. There's really two big problems. One is users having to get gas from whatever chain they're on. If they're not a crypto person, right? If they get an app, that's great, but they can't use it until they somehow get the gas token. How have you solved that problem? Is Polygon solving that for you somehow?
We are working with them on that. So right from the beginning, we're almost trying to not inform the players at all that it's a blockchain game. This is another partner that we picked for wallet integration, Sequence. Again, it's a good story why we picked them, but they have their own game. It's Horizon. They have Skyweaver. So their wallet was very much had a gaming mindset behind it. Like, what do players struggle when they're creating wallets? How can we remove any of that friction? And we didn't want to have any pop-up saying blockchain wallet or anything like that. We just want a player to come in, and in our Web2 version of the game, after your tutorial, you have a little pop-up that says, "Would you want to create a username like Mark J, just to save your progress?" So you can do that, and you log in with social logins, with a Gmail account or Facebook, Twitch, whatever you want. And we are creating a non-custodial wallet for you in the back end without even letting you know. So now you're already on the blockchain side of the game. Every coin that you are earning is a token, but we are not telling you that these are tokens. Your character is an NFT, but we're not telling you that's an NFT. So you can actually play the whole game and go through the whole thing without knowing that you're playing a Web3 game.
And do I?
Yeah, that's... Go on.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. So if you create a non-custodial wallet for the end user and you don't really tell them it's crypto, all great ideas, and I think you're doing it absolutely the right way. How do they have to? Do they get a seed phrase to back up their wallet? Are they told to do that? How are you handling that?
That's I would let you my CTO give you all the technical sides of it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because these are things I think through every time I talk to another crypto project or I think about doing one myself. I'm like, well, this wallet problem and the making end users back up with a seed phrase problem, getting the gas token problem. These are all like big hurdles, and I think they've all stood in the way of widespread Web3 adoption. They're like the big problems in the way, and somebody has to crack all these things. And I think some people have cracked some of these things, but nobody's cracked all of them yet. So I'm always curious how people like you. You're like a serious guy with a serious company, and I'm really curious how a serious guy with a serious company is tackling this problem. You are obviously a UI expert. Most people in the Web3 blockchain space are not UI experts. Their UIs are generally terrible, and weirdly, they're not. They don't seem to be self-aware of that, right? They're like, that's fine, but actually, it's not fine. It's they don't have that craftsmanship that someone like you has. So I was actually extra curious as to sort of how you were solving those, and some of these things. I'm like,
Yeah, UI and UX is really like the whole onboarding experience of players is absolutely the main thing to solve. And everything you mentioned, the technical side on the blockchain is one side. The other one is what we are really good at as well is on the game side. So a lot of players on a normal game, forget about Web3 or blockchain, like basically the launch to play is a huge metric that we have in mobile gaming. It needs to be in seconds these days. So from the moment that you download an app, you launch the app, and you are in the game, playing the game, needs to be in seconds. And I don't think there's any blockchain game right now that does that yet. So that's definitely one of the main metrics that we are looking to solve is bring all the really, really like competitive metrics from Web 2 into Web 3 on the gaming side, UI, UX. And of course, on the back end, we are solving everything else as well.
Yes, and then one last question on that. So, do you have fiat on ramps inside of the app for me to buy and sell my NFTs as they relate to the game?
Yes. So that's another huge thing that we're adding now. We're speaking to a couple of partners on who to add, on what geos, what type of fiat on ramps that we can get. Again, the main audience we're targeting here are like traditional mobile players. So these guys don't have wallets, they don't have tokens, but everyone has a credit card or Apple Pay or something like that. So we're definitely having those in the game.
Wow! So I'm actually feeling very good about my early investment. I have to say, the more I talk to you, so congratulations. I know it took a little bit of time to get here, and I know that, and I know it's been frustrating for you, probably more than me. But it feels like sometimes taking time is the right thing to do, and it just takes time to do things right? So,
absolutely.
But the more you talk, the more I'm like, okay, this is even better than I thought it was when I invested. So I'm very happy right now. So tell me a little bit about the GameFi space in general. Like, so all your competitors, like Axie Infinity, I don't know who else is out there. You'd be more aware, obviously, of that than I am. Tell me what sort of the lay of the land is, how big it is, who's screwing up, who's winning. Tell me your thoughts on just the space in general.
I'm not going to name any names of the ones not doing so well,
Okay.
This is a very small industry after all, and everyone's doing their best. But I'm very bullish on the projects coming to the space, especially the ones which are my peers in Web 2. So I know they're like really, really experienced and solid game developers, studios, and publishers. I know a lot of them will come this year, and I think it's not even at this stage. It's not even competition because my users are their users, and that's very much like mobile gaming 10 years ago. So I started in 2011. Very similar situation actually, Mark, where everyone made fun of me for starting a mobile gaming company in 2011, saying that it's just going to be PC and console. Hannibal, you're crazy. Who's going to want to play a game on this tiny device? You have no chance. And, so I'm not new to this sort of adversity. But back to like blockchain gaming today, no one ever plays just one game, right? You probably ask anyone who plays games, they'll have like 5-10 games on their devices. So if all these like other competitors come in, and I know there's like Scope is coming in and Tilting Point's coming in and Voodoo just announced, and these are all very big like Web2 gaming companies. If they come in, they bring the users, those will be our users and vice versa. So I think, and from a consumer confidence, it's not one game is really going to change everything. You need to have a bunch of games, a bunch of studios for people to forget this nightmarish GameFi experience we had in the last 1 year.
Yes. Yeah, so basically it's co-opetition where like you are all cooperating while you're competing, but really the enemy right now is really the growth of the space. And all of you are sort of in the same boat together. And if one of you breaks out, probably drags the rest of you up with them, or at least, it's definitely a positive thing, not a negative thing. So, you guys can all fight it out later after, you all got 4 billion people in the game space. But just getting to 4 billion is the battle right now. So.
Exactly. I mean, in Web 2, there's not a lot of friends anymore, Now it's just like direct competition. So
now it's Highlander, right? Now you guys are all trying to chase each other around with swords. Yeah. So
I think it's going to be the same thing. Give it like 3 years, and then I'll start to name names.
Yes. Yeah. We're not quite there yet. So this is the good happy time. So it's a relish it while you're in it because it won't last forever. So I've had a thought for a long time. I'm mostly in the DeFi space. I watch the GameFi space. I don't participate in it very often because I don't understand it as well as I do DeFi. I've heard a lot of people talk, however, in the DeFi space about, it'd be great if we could allow people to financialize their game NFTs. So simple example, I take one of my hunters online and I stake it in a lending platform. The lending platform estimates how much it's worth somehow. I don't know how it does that, but let's just say it does. Looks at the floor or something. And allows me to borrow stable coins against my staked NFT. What do you think about that? Is that a thing, or is that just sort of, people stretching?
Look, I think it might work. I don't know, to be quite honest. I haven't seen an example of how that works. We are doing something different, but let's call it just passive income, because we know there's a lot of players who are coming here for the passive income, especially now. And not for the game. And we've created a rental protocol, which is not quite the way you mentioned it, but you get basically some earnings from not playing the game. So the way it works is because there's a limited amount of this premium NFTs. And let's say you have a roster of like 10 of those and you don't want to play the game, or you don't have the time, or it's while you go to bed. You can rent them out, and then anyone who doesn't want to invest in NFT themselves, they can come in, they rent your NFT for 12 hours or 24 hours. Is up to you to agree. Also, the rev share that you want, maybe you want 50% of their winnings, or you want 25%. So the market will find itself. Like if you have 50% and you never rent your guys out, then you need to be less aggressive on the rev share. So this way you get something for owning that asset. The other players don't have to have the initial capital to get into the game, and eventually they can save enough to get their own, or just to keep on renting. So it's kind of a tool that we've created to cater for the DeFi users, also for the investors which are not particularly gamers. Like, for example, yourself, you could come in, you could buy 10, 20 of our NFTs and just rent them out all day, do nothing else. So I think, and it will be a good way to enter like the smaller markets like Southeast Asia, Latin America, which they might not have, 50 or 100 Matic to buy the first NFT. They can come in. And finally, it also addresses the really the Web2 players who are really like not trusting the space yet. So they don't want to come in and buy something for $100 and then lose it. So they can just rent out an NFT. They'll play with it and say, oh, actually, it's a real game. Okay, I'll go into it.
Interesting. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is how I will use it. And I do have an NFT right now, so I guess that's probably what I'll do. Now, if somebody, so this is sort of similar to what Axie Infinity did with their Scholar program, the way I understood that. Is that correct?
Well, not so much. So the Scholar program or like the guilds that they have, those are like organized communities that pool all their resources together, their NFTs, they play them out, and then they share the winnings. This is more, I mean, guilds and scholars can certainly do this for sure, in a way to be way more organized than what they have right now, because all the protocol is done inside of our game. So you don't have to do the rev share individually like guilds and scholars do at the moment. You literally, if you own the wallet and you let other people play with your hunter, the rev share is calculated automatically. So it removes all the headache of having to send 20% to this guy or 50% to that guy. This is more for people. Yeah, the way that we are doing it is all inside the game. It's all very native. It's all you don't have to jump into any of the systems. It works really well.
Got it. So if I rent my guy out, I assume that my character, my NFT, accumulates experience points and becomes more powerful. I don't know if I got that right or not, but is it possible to rent my guy out and basically he gets more and more powerful as a result of renting him out also?
That's exactly what happens. So like you get the way that it becomes more powerful is for you to make the choice of upgrading it. So it doesn't happen automatically because you might want to basically go in a different direction with a different hunter. So you have like a magician, you have an assassin, you have a rogue character. What you get is a rev share or portion of the gems that player earned or won with your character. So you wake up in the morning and let's say that your rented out character earned 1,000 gems overnight. So then you can go into our main shop, you open a chest, and inside of those chests, there are different NFTs themselves. So you have some artifacts, you have some equipments, and you have some shards. So you can select what to do. So you can either equip some of the equipment parts, so you can use the shards to merge create a hunter that is more upgraded, and then you can charge more for a hunter that is level 3, level 4, instead of your original hunter level 1.
Got it. And the chest that you're referring to, for those who don't know, sort of like a mystery box. It's like when you buy baseball cards.
Exactly.
You have no idea, whether it's all rookies or whether you're getting Willie Mays or Babe Ruth, like when they're a rookie, or something super valuable, or it might be nothing. You just don't know. So super cool. Okay. So you're in Dubai, right? So this is where where you're talking to us from. Is that where your company is based, and has it always been based there? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in Europe before the gaming studio, the Web2 gaming studios in Europe. But we were looking for quite some time for a place for the blockchain, BoomLand blockchain division, and Dubai just seems like one of the best places for regulation, mostly.
Yeah, no, I've been noticing that as a trend especially over the last 6 months or so. The more and more I talk to people, I mean, Andre Cronje, who is one of the main guys behind Phantom, now lives in Dubai full time. Most of the people I talked to at the conference I just came back from in Miami, many, I wouldn't say most, but many of these people are in Dubai, and they've recently moved there sometime in the last year or two. And it does seem to be becoming the big hub for blockchain because of regulation, because Dubai has got open arms. They love this stuff. They think this is the future. They want to be the leader in it. Whereas the United States is kind of holding its nose and, just kind of doing bad things from my perspective, and seemingly from the rest of the world's perspective also. And I guess Europe Europe is, I think, better than the United States when it comes to regulation on this stuff, but I guess probably not good enough for you. Would you concur with that? What do you think about all that?
Well, it depends as well because Europe, every country has their own regulations, and Switzerland, they're not part, they're out, so they can do. So Zug became a center for crypto for sure. My wife is from Greece. She said she's not going to a place with minus 20 degrees Celsius, which is Zug, So it didn't leave me a lot of options. But no, but Dubai, joking aside, the community in Dubai is massive. The Polygon guys are here. I think, everyone is here, like Krakens and Binance and everyone's over here. There are tons of conferences are over here. It's very well positioned to go to Asia as well. You can get licenses, they're constantly updating now. They're just announced they have like a metaverse license coming in, an NFT license coming in. So, you don't have any problems. I mean, we were looking at Hong Kong, Singapore, Estonia, all these places. And during the research, things were always changing. I think in Estonia, the government changed. So they changed again their stance on it. And then Singapore, I mean, there was everything. There was something changing. And Dubai is always forward. They believe in it. It's the future. So, yeah, very happy. Apart from the incredible heat, we arrived here in August. And nothing can get you ready for that sort of heat. But now it's fine. Now it's perfect. I'm very happy here.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. So Dubai is becoming the new Silicon Valley. It seems like there's a scene
for
there, right?
blockchain. Yeah. For blockchain, I think so. Yeah.
Silicon Valley is not going to be the Silicon Valley of the next wave. It appears. So, which is a shame. That sucks. I like America, and I wish we would. I wish we'd do better at this stuff, but we're apparently blowing it. So Dubai's going to grab the big ring, I think. So, okay. Well, Hannibal, we're coming up now on the 40-minute mark, so we're almost out of time here. But before we go, I'd like to know, what are your websites? What are your Twitter handles? Where can people find out more about you?
Sure. We try to keep everything as simple as possible. So the website is BoomLand.io. Twitter is BoomLand Games. And almost every social is BoomLand Games. So feel free to join us on Twitter, Discord. All the news are over there. We're doing constant announcements now ahead of our launch. So yeah, if you want to find out more about us, then come over.
Outstanding. Well, Hannibal, thank you so much for coming on the show. Again, I know it took us like forever to get this to happen, but I'm super glad that it happened now. No, it's okay. You were doing real work on real stuff, so I have no problem with that, and especially since it's one of my investments, so I'm super happy about that. So, and you've taken the proper amount of time to do things right. So, again, very happy about that. Congratulations on all this awesome progress and success. And that's it for this time. My name is Mark Jeffrey. This has been Hash Rate. We'll talk to you next time.
Thank you very much, Mark.